When you think of fall, you think of baking. At least I do. One of my favorite things to make, of course, chocolate, anything, but I also enjoy making things with a lot of fruit, apples in particular. Today, I have a treat for you from a community cookbook that I think you're really going to enjoy. Hi, thanks for joining me today on Susan's Cozy Kitchen. Today we're in the kitchen to make apple crisp. Before I got started, I went ahead and peeled, cored, and sliced 10 very small apples. Just to give you an idea of why I did that many apples, here's a comparison for you of the size apples I had along with a container of lemon juice. They were pretty tiny apples, so it took several to make enough to put into my pie dish. If you're doing larger apples, 6 might work. Medium sized, 8 would be perfect. If they're smaller, you need at least 10. Okay, so those have been peeled, and then I used my handy dandy apple core slicer, and then I put them into some cold salted water. I drained and gave my apples a quick rinse just to get rid of any of the lingering salt. Now I'm going to pour them into a 9-inch deep dish pie plate. Just kind of even them out a little bit. When you're cooking with apples, you want to use something like a Granny Smith or something that's going to hold up to the cooking process. I had 2 bags of Red Delicious apples because I'd forgotten I had a bag, and then I bought another bag. I wasn't going to go buy more apples, so I'm using Red Delicious today. They're probably not going to hold up as well as a Granny Smith or another apple along those lines. But you know what? It's still going to be baked apples with a nice topping, and it's going to taste good, so I'm not going to worry about that. For future reference, try to get Granny Smith or another apple that I will list in the description box below for you. All right, so there are my apples. Now, over the apples, I'm going to pour a 1/4 cup of milk that I've mixed a teaspoon of vanilla into. So I'm just going to pour that over everything. Going to put that over here to the side and let it wait. In the bowl that I had the apples hanging out in while I was getting everything else put together, I've rinsed it out, dried it, so it's ready for me to mix everything else. So I have a cup of all-purpose flour. I have a 1.5 cups of oatmeal. I have 3/4 cup of brown sugar, and it is packed brown sugar. You can see it's all, it's packed brown sugar. When you pick it up, it falls apart, sorry. And I have a teaspoon of cinnamon. Stir this together. I'm just breaking up the brown sugar. Okay. So that's all mixed together. Now I'm going to add a stick of butter that I have warmed up to room temperature. This is salted butter, but you could definitely use unsalted if you wanted to. I just always have salted butter on hand. Blend until it becomes a crumble. So I'm going to set aside my wooden spoon. I'm going to move on to my pastry blender just to try to get this to crumble up a little bit better. You might have to stop every now and then and clear out your blender. While I'm working this into a crumble, I'm going to start preheating the oven. I'm going to do it on bake at 350. I'll let that preheat while I finish working the butter into this. Now that I've got the butter broken up some, I think I'm going to just keep working with my spoon and see if I can get everything a little bit better. If you really want to be hands-on with this, and I just might in a minute, you can work it together with your hands, and that might actually go a little bit faster. I finally gave up. I've been reading a James Beard cookbook, and he highly recommends using your hands as a kitchen utensil so that you really understand and get to know the feel of your food when you're mixing something. Once you know what it's supposed to feel like and look like, then you can move on to using spoons and blenders and whatever. You know, there are times like now that my hands are actually a better utensil than the pastry blender or the spoon would have been. I would have been here 15 minutes or longer trying to get everything together with either of those. All right, there's my topping, just nice and coarse. And now the easy part, just scooping this out onto the apples. And it goes. I have it set again at 350. There's 37 minutes on the timer. Okay, the timer went off. I cooked it for 37 minutes. It's done. I poked a little fork down in there and double checked. The apples are completely cooked through, so just going to let it cool for a bit. Okay, let's see what this is like. Normally I would do this with some homemade whipped cream, but I ran out. I had this, so okay, let's see what this is all about. Got plenty of topping here. Okay, so I've got topping. Oh hey, my apples held together a little bit better than I thought they would. They look really good. Wow, this is the type of thing that I start craving in the fall and winter time. It's just warm, it's delicious. This is a hint of cinnamon and really lets the apples be the star of the show. And I think that's really a wonderful thing in this particular dish. You can find the recipe along with a lot of other information in the description box below. Please check it out. If you enjoyed today's video, please be sure and give me a big thumbs up. If you haven't already, please subscribe. And when you do, make sure you ring the notification bell so that you find out every time I upload a video to YouTube. Thanks for joining me. God bless.